So if you're watching this video, you've probably just purchased a new ute, or you're thinking about upgrading some additional accessories, and you've chosen not to go with dealership accessories. For example, something like a roller shutter. Now, my name is Rashid from Gram 4x4, and in today's video, we're going to walk you through some of the reasons why you might choose an aftermarket roller shutter as opposed to one from a dealership. Here at Gram 4x4, one of the main products that we work on is the manual and electric roller shutter. And if you have been living in Australia, you'd probably know that over the last probably 12 months or so, the BYD Shark has been one of the best-selling utes. But the options for accessories for the BYD Shark can be quite tricky when trying to make a purchase. You have the option of buying accessories straight out of the dealership, so when you're taking the finance out on the vehicle, but oftentimes the cost of those accessories can be marked up quite a bit. I've seen quotes on electric roller shutters ranging anywhere from kind of $3,500 all the way up to about $5,000 when purchased through the dealership. But what exactly are you getting when you purchase the electric roller shutter through the dealership? What happens is they generally do or become resellers of these products via the manufacturers, and they're really not specialists when it comes to the products in terms of advice, and especially the fitment. That's the thing that we see most often when customers come in. We often speak to them and they tell us, they've had the roller shutter installed, but they weren't happy with the fitment, so they were looking for some kind of upgrade. Maybe they got their money back from the dealership, so they were looking for something else from a specialist roller shutter provider. Now, what happens when you come to a company that specifically works with these products? For one, for example, let's say a typical store like ours, we install hundreds of these every year. And so when it comes to the installation of these, we really know what to expect, what to look for. For example, on one of the questions that we get asked the most is a roller shutter waterproof, right? Now, there's a few things that you want to consider. For one, you got to ask yourself, is the tub actually waterproof? And in most of the cases, they're actually not. There's certain points within the tub which will allow water and dust in. The one is just kind of like behind the headboard. There is possibly some holes there for different models, and then also at the back of the tailgate here as well, which would typically require a tailgate seal. Now, another thing that working with a specialist accessory store would probably give you is really good advice. Now, the question about is your roller shutter waterproof is something that we get asked virtually on every single customer interaction, and the answer to that is no, roller shutters are not in fact 100% waterproof. They start off at 100%, but because of the nature of the product, there's so many moving parts, and the fact that these things actually move around, the waterproof level of the roller shutter does come down a couple of percentage points over the lifespan of the product. So if you're looking for a solution for tub storage that is 100% waterproof, then a roller shutter might not be the perfect option for you. But let's say you have a ute, you're happy with a roller shutter in terms of how well it can seal your tub, right? And now your choices are, do I go for a very high-end roller shutter? Do I go for a very budget option, right? Or do I find something in the middle, right? So I just want to broadly explain what the differences are with a very high-end roller shutter between the very budget option and some good quality middle of the range suppliers. So on the high end, a very kind of like big brand legacy branded roller shutters, what can you expect from these? These are generally good quality. They have really good designs, right? But the main difference that they would generally offer from the research that I've done is longer warranty periods. They have a wide distribution network, right? So you could probably get them installed in possibly hundreds of places across the country. And the other thing is some of the features, right? And in terms of features, what you can expect from some of the higher tier suppliers is factory key opening and closing of the roller shutter. Oftentimes it's a smaller canister, right? And also in terms of the external design, sometimes the profile is slightly a lower profile, which looks a bit better. So yeah, that's what you can expect from one of the top tier roller shutter suppliers, right? Now, in terms of price, what can you expect to pay for one of these? So for some of these brands, the prices range anywhere from about 3,500 to about 42 to 4,500 for the supply and installation of an electric roller shutter on a domestic ute. So when I say domestic ute, I don't mean the large American utes with like 5'5" or 6'4" tray sizes. I'm talking about your Hilux, D-Max, Navara, BYD Shark, etc. A domestic ute, regular sized ute. You can expect to pay between kind of like 3.5 and early 4 grand if you go with one of these top tier suppliers. On the opposite end, right? If you were to search, let's say for example, BYD roller shutter on Google, you would come up with hundreds of different options, suppliers. Prices range anywhere from kind of like $999 or like $950 all the way up to about, let's say, $1,700 or $1,800, right? That's for, like, let's say we're talking manual. If it was electric, you would be looking at somewhere around $1,800 all the way up to about $2,400 to $2,500, right? Now, on the budget side of things, right? The challenges that I see people have is that if you don't know what you're looking for, all the roller shutters essentially look the same. And they do look quite similar. But the big difference is when you work with a roller shutter installer, personally what I'm looking for is how long has the business been operational for, right? And how familiar are they with this specific product on that specific vehicle, right? What you can also expect to see is on some of the more budget options, generally speaking, they only offer a 12-month warranty, right? And typically the lifespan of a roller shutter should be between the ranges of about 3.5, maybe about up until 5 years, generally speaking. But we have seen roller shutters that go for a bit longer, but in the very harsh Aussie conditions, you know, lots of UV rays, lots of water, and especially if it's a tradesperson or taking the vehicle off-road, you can expect the lifespan of that to reduce. Now, with a 1-year warranty, that for me personally is a little bit of a red flag. Now, if you are looking for a good middle-of-the-road option, right? There's quite a few companies. Grand 4x4 is not the only one, but in terms of the southeast of Melbourne, we are one of the preferred roller shutter installers. We do on average somewhere around the 6 to kind of like 800 unit per mark, depending on the year. At the moment right now, we currently have an electric roller shutter on this relatively new BYD Shark. This is our new version of the roller shutter. It does come with factory key integration, so a quick 3-click. And as you can see, the roller shutter opens, and as the curtain pulls back, what you'll immediately notice is the new version now has ultra wide LED from edge to edge. This is typically mostly seen on the higher tier products, but it's a recent upgrade that we now have for a few different models, not for everything. Some still come with a separate remote, but on this new version, it does have the factory key, ultra wide LED, external buttons, which you can manually close the roller shutter, and as you can see, the roller shutter But also another new feature that we have here is the mobile app integration, which is typically, as I mentioned, seen on some of the more premium brands. You just go close here, and as you see, closes. Stop it just there as well. I'm going to open it up again. There you go. Right? These roller shutters do come with a full 2-year warranty. We also do spare parts for everything. So let's say after the 2-year mark, if something were to happen to your roller shutter, we can swap out individual parts of the roller shutter, which is really great for people that are looking to keep the vehicle long term. And yeah, just in terms of installation on these, installation on one of our roller shutters typically take about 4 hours to complete. We do have installers available across the country, and we also have quite a bit of accessories. So generally people add on some sports bars, crossbars, different kinds of racks, etc. So I hope you found this information useful. And remember, sometimes going for the cheapest option might not always be the best. Yeah, sometimes you can get lucky and basically, find a really good deal at a good price. But most of the time, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. So thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, give us a shout, and we'll see you next time.